First, we're going to go with selection boxes. Very, very simple. This is what you'll use most of the time. Basically, there's a couple of ways of doing this. One is if you single left click, that starts your selection. Now, if I drag to the left, either down and to the left or up and to the left, you can see that my selection box is filled with a green color, and I've dashed a white dashed line around the outside of that green box. So what this does is anything I touch, you can see I went over our little property line that we drew. It's now highlighted. If I continue, anything I go over starts to highlight, right? And these are all individual objects. So even though these are crossing, if I move, it only selects what I'm touching. So this is the quick way. This is probably what you'll do a lot of times because it's very intuitive, I think, to move your mouse and just select what you want, including anything that you touch. Now, the other option is left click, drag to the right, either down and to the right or up and to the right. And even if I go left, it turns green. But if you go to the right, this selection box will only select what I completely cover. So as long as I can completely select that object, it'll be selected. So now, where before, if I left click, drag to the left, I have the green box, anything I touch gets highlighted. Now if I left click, drag to the right, you see the property line did not get selected. The yellow line did not get selected as I go over it. The green did not get selected. Now, as soon as I get down here and I completely cover this green line, now it's highlighted, meaning if I click again, only that one's selected. So again, if I click and drag to the left and then click again, all of these items, anything I touched is selected. If I drag to the right, only the things I've completely covered have been selected. So you can get a little bit more specific with your selections here. So I could go real quick, but I only completely covered the yellow line, or like this. I only got these two, even though I was completely covering or I was almost completely covering our image. Single click to the left, anything you touch. Single click to the right, anything you completely cover with the box. The other way of selecting things, or another way of selecting things, is the lasso tool. Works exactly the same way. The difference is I click and hold, and now I can basically draw a little line. They call this the lasso. So you can get even really weird with your selections. But if I click and hold and go to the left, you'll see it's, again, anything I'm touching, it's dashed on its perimeter with white and green on the inside, and anything I touch, I've got. This is where your selection to your right really comes in handy, because I could go down here, go back up there. Now I've got those two down over here, and it only selected those. So just a little bit more of a way of selecting items. Your dragging to the right is going to be when you've got a lot of objects on top of each other and you really only want one. Then this becomes a little easier. Whoops. Single click, that becomes a little easier. I don't really use a lasso often. Every once in a while I will, but it's mostly, this becomes very instinctive to do, just the click and let go with the boxes.